Throughout this PowerPoint, I'm going to evaluate notational analysis and show the advantages and disadvantages of it. Notational analysis is the study of movement patterns, strategies and tactics in team sports. Successful patterns of play can be identified and used in subsequent matches. Notational analysis is usually done to find out players' strengths and weaknesses. It's usually done by the coach or by teammates. This is good because players will be able to know what they need to improve and what skills they need to work on. Notational analysis is used to observe players and to look at their talent. In all sports there is performance criteria. This is basically what you can and can't do within the sport. It varies in different sports as each game will require different tactics. Different positions have different performance criteria. For example, in netball, as you can see in the top right photo, performers would be expected to be able to do chest passes and to be able to pass to players within their team. However, in rugby, which is the top left picture, the players would tackle the opposition to get the ball. So this is different to netball because the players are not allowed to tackle each other. In football, the players should pass to each other and receive the ball. Passing and receiving the ball in football is within the performance criteria. Differently, in rugby, the players are meant to hold and throw the ball. So different positions in different sports will have different performance criteria as they need to have different roles within their sport and their game. A power forward in basketball would need a certain performance criteria to have a more successful game. These may include unforced errors, forced errors, shot success and failure, shot accuracy, catches, passes, interceptions, layouts, rebounds, turnovers. So all this criteria will be used to assess a player and how successful they are in achieving it. So a turnover is when you lose or gain possession of the ball. In a game, this can be done by out of bounds, fouls, or throwing it out of play. A 2-point is a shot made from during play inside the 3-point arc. A 3-point shot is made from anywhere outside the 3-point arc. A free throw is 1 point is awarded to an unguarded shot taken from behind the free throw line while the clock is stopped. Catches and passes are required as the player will need to pass the ball to score. Notational analysis can be done in a number of ways. One way is looking at their movement patterns. This could be done by a GPS signal. This is the photo here on the left. It will be done by putting a tracker on the player and the computer will track the movement they have done. This is better than doing it by pen and paper as it will be more accurate. Another way is looking at their heart rate, so this will indicate how hard they're working within the game and if they need to push themselves even more. So they'll be able to do this by wearing a heart rate monitor and you can look at it on a computer screen and see how much their heart rate has gone up within different periods of the game. Also you can look at the distance covered, so by this you'll be able to analyse a player for how much ground they've covered and then you'll need to know if you need to do more or less. The photo on the left shows the movement patterns, so you can see where the player has been and where they haven't been. Notational analysis can have advantages and disadvantages. So an advantage is that it's factual because it's evidence of the player's performance. Another advantage that its evidence is easy to interpret and analyse because it's all facts and statistics, so you can put it into a graph or into a pie chart. Players also know what to improve, as a sheet will tell them what they have and haven't done. So for example, if they've attempted 5 2-pointers but only made 2, they'll need to know that they need to improve on their shooting skills. And software can reduce time and enhance presentation for data for players. And also notational analysis can aid in the coach's planning, so they know what their players are weak at and what they need to work on. However, there are disadvantages to notational analysis, one of them being reliability. So the individual could make mistakes because the game is very high intensity and it's difficult to keep your eye on the player you're analysing all the time because everyone's moving so quickly. Also, if the individual that's noting the player isn't knowledgeable of the game, they may make mistakes as they might not know what a 3-point shot is and therefore they won't put it down on the sheet. Also, when analysing the player, you don't know what situation they were in. So, for example, if they scored 4 out of 6, then their percentage would be lower than someone who scored 1 out of 1. However, if they're in a situation when they had to shoot straight away and they missed because they were under too much pressure, the person analysing their performance may think they're worse than they actually are due to the situational factors that they're in. Also, the software can be expensive to buy to analyse your performance, so therefore it might be better to do it by hand. but however that can take a lot of time. Having done my notational analysis, here are my results and my evidence. This will be explained further in 6.4.